So if you've been watching our videos, you would have seen in our introductory video that we have a few chickens of different breeds. At the moment, the chickens that we have are layer breeds just for us to keep eggs. We do supply to friends and family and for our own use at the moment, but we do have some major plans coming up in the future for our chickens. So you'll see some good expansions coming at our new property. But where we are now, they're just down the bottom of the hill in amongst all our pine trees. They have a nice little chicken run. We've ended up dividing that into two spaces, one that have our Isa Browns and two of our black Australorps that we initially purchased quite a while ago. And they are all hens, so we don't have any roosters in there, so they're just for our layer eggs. And then on the other side of the fence to where I am cleaning out this chicken coop, we have our Australorps. So we have 10 Australorps in the other pen. 7 of them are hens, 3 of them are roosters. So we do plan to have a breeding program with them and start hatching out some of our own babies. But at the moment, those Australorps are only about 4.5 months old, so they haven't started laying yet. You can see them in the corner of that video a little bit there. So that is the beginning of our breeder program. However, we have also just ventured into the world of Wyandottes as well. So we will talk a bit more about our upcoming chicken plans in future videos. These were our first chickens, so it's a bit of a learning experience for us before deciding on the right breeds and the right plan going forward. So we're just taking you on some chicken chores for this part of the video, just mucking out their little chicken coop there. So we got I think it was only about $100 deal on Marketplace, and we got ourselves a cubby house. So that cubby house is above ground, so it can be insulated. It doesn't get too cold here in winter. It can get down to 0 degrees Celsius. It doesn't usually get below that, and where this property is, it doesn't snow or anything, so they don't need it to be too warm. We do have the automated door that we've put in just recently, and you can sort of see there's a couple of roosting bars that Ben's popped in there so the girls can sit on them at night. And they do have just wood shavings for their bedding. So I had started trying to get a manure compost pile going in the corner here. I popped down some sticks and some mulch from the back corner of the yard there where we get a lot of pine needles, and the girls dig it up when they do their dust bathing, so it's quite nice, almost composted mulch up the back there. So I've put that on some of the twigs and branches at the bottom here and just started mucking out those wood shavings to the top of the pile. You'll see sort of a bit towards the end of the video or the end of this section of the video, that I am putting some bits and pieces. We've got some crates and stuff lying around, and I'm putting them on top of the pile as a temporary measure to stop the girls from getting to my pile of manure. But unfortunately, I forgot to go back to that to properly cover it, and girls will be girls, and they have actually moved my crates off of the pile, so I am going to have to get Ben to create some sort of composting bin with sides, and so we can properly do this pile. We're going to start doing some different composting measures around the property in an attempt to get some backup composting resources for when we're finally able to put in our garden beds at the other property. And the mix that we use for our garden beds is part composted manure part composted vegetable matter or plant matter, part vermiculite, or I think you call it perlite in the USA, and mixing that all together. I do think we also add, there is something else that I'll need to double check what we add, but we do need to get some manure going because we are going to have, I believe the plan is 35 raised garden beds, so we're going to have a lot of composted manure and a lot of compost. So we've just started, we have the ducks that we would have shown in the introductory video as well. So we've started a duck manure pile, and then we've started this chicken manure pile as well. You can see my attempt to get the girls away from my chicken manure pile to get them some treats in some mealworms. It worked for a little while, but not very long. You do see them go straight back to the pile after eating their mealworms. We're also starting a vegetable matter composting pile, and we're going to try and do a new pile every month to 2 months, so that by the time we're setting up our new garden beds at the property in spring, we should hopefully have access to a few different piles that are at different levels of decomposition and from different sources to be able to mix up some of our garden beds without having to source only those ingredients from our local nursery. So now I'm spreading out the fresh wood shavings after cleaning out the girls' coop. And while down here, after spending a few 10 minutes or so cleaning out their coop, I realized that we have a bit of a mite or lice problem. I have not experienced that with my chickens before. Still not entirely sure what they are. They're so tiny. I don't think they're lice, but whatever they are disgusting, and there are so many of them in the bedding and up the doors, around the framing of the doors, on the ceiling of the coop. They're just everywhere. So in another part of this video, you'll see Ben and I having to come to the rescue of the girls and try and get on top of this pest problem, or parasite problem really. So now I'm just locking up their coop. I've taken their eggs out, got it all nice and clean for them. They've had their breakfast for the day, they've had their snacks for the day. I'm trying to find a few more crates and things to pop on top to cover as much of the pile as I can, but that would have been useful if I remembered to come back and actually check on my pile and cover it over. But instead the girls scratch all of it up and it goes under the chicken coop and down the hill. So I will have to go back to that and rake it all up into a heap and have it so they don't have access to it. Alright, just packing everything up. Now they have a nice fresh clean coop. So this video just shows the extent of the molting that we're going through at the moment. And now all of those tiny little parasites.
All over.
Still not sure if they're lice or mites, but that's all over Ben's back just from him going in for a couple of minutes to spray the walls down. So we bought some lice and mite powder. So I've decided the best method of treatment is all the types of treatment. I may not be very experienced with chickens, but we do breed and show dogs, and I have had them for a very long time. And we have had a couple of big flea problems, and the best way that we've always gotten rid of our fleas is to treat in multiple types of methods. So we might do a spot-on treatment on the back of the neck for the dogs, and then a week or two later give them an internal treatment that does worms and fleas. But then we also treat the environment as well. So we will wash bedding, we will wash our clothes, we will vacuum the carpets and the couches if it might be inside, and then we've also flea bombed. So I've taken the similar approach with the girls with their lice problem. This one, you can see we're actually in the Australorp side of the pen, and this is one of our Isa Browns who is not supposed to be in this side of the pen.
We have 25 or 26 birds to do. Right, turn around and do a bum bum.
You need to do your bum bum.
And then this is just to tell we've done you. Let's do a little bit.
I'm quite happy.
Alright, back over the fence you go, Missy. You're not meant to be here.
Yeah, over this fence. They're gonna be like,
Alright, next.
next. Back one. Please. You're okay. You'll get used to it.
You can tell which ones are the older chickens and which are the younger chickens. You're okay, you're okay. It's okay. We know it's weird, isn't it? You're okay.
You're alright. I know.
Dude, come on.
Wap, wap.
You're alright. Hey, hey.
You can get the bum from there.
I'll do a lot of back while you slowly face in that direction.
I'll hold their feet to keep them down, so.
Alright, go.
Black and white.
Yeah, you're a white bird.
They're all white. See, it wasn't that bad. Look at the rest of them, like, nah.
A few more to go.
So we've used the powder on the birds, and the remaining powder we've used in their bedding and up the roosts a little bit. Then we've gotten some spray to do the doors, the walls and the ceilings. And then in a week we will get a treatment for their water, and then we will also get a separate spray to redo the coop, just to cover all of our bases, and have used a bunch of different products, types and ingredients to make sure we can get rid of that problem as best as possible. Alright, day 7 to start candling our eggs. Egg number 2, and you can see the little vein and just a tiny baby there. See if I can get a better light. That little dot that you can kind of see moving is a baby, and then you can see the veins here, and then the air pocket to the left. And if I turn it around, you can see that there's nothing on that side. And then you can start to see the veins when I start turning it around, and back to the little baby.